take my time.
Hello and welcome on board of this beautiful Axopar 37. We're right in front here of Monaco. Next to us we have this crazy Brabus 1000 Suntop, and we have outside some, I would say rough weather conditions. We have like 2.5 or 1.5 to 2.5 meters of waves, and we going to show you what this very special Axopar 37 that we made in Traben, that we modified, is capable to do, and how it behaves at such a rough sea. So as you see now, we're going on a cruising speed of 26 or even further, 28 knots. This is now the cruising speed over here. We have now a consumption of 1.4 liters per nautical mile, which will be for one engine, I guess. So then we would have like a bit above 3 liters per nautical mile at a cruising speed. Let me check. We speed up again a bit. So as you can see, the bow is moving nearly none. Even if we have some quite heavy waves, the boat is fully controllable all the time. I can, with these V10 engines, they have so much torque. Let's go back into the sun. I can take out the speed and the boat slows down immediately, and I can give speed in again. So the bow is not going to dip. As you can see right now, we were going down the wave, and we can speed up so the bow of the boat stays up. So the boat is a complete driver's boat. It behaves very well, and it's always super stable while we are maneuvering. So for example, right now we have a quite big wave coming right in front of us. We're speeding up, slowing down, and going and speeding up again to keep the bow up, and this works perfectly. So when you look for a tender or somebody who can bring you from the boat, from the big boat into the harbor or somewhere else into a bay dry and safe, this boat is absolutely capable of doing this as a normal speed of 26, 27 knots, even if in these high roller waves. And even if we go for a corner, for example, for a turn, boat stays super stable. It's very easy to maneuver it. We're now doing 33, 32, 34, 35 knots. And you see the boat is actually doesn't feel unsafe at all. So now we go into a turn against the waves again. Now we have some bit more swell, choppy waves. Whoop, speed away. So the boat goes slow down in the front. We can speed up again, so no water is coming on board. Woohoo! You can have some fun with this. So as you can see, we have quite some big rollers running here. There's the Brabus 1000. There's even more horsepower. This particular boat right here, this cabin where we are on right now, has twin V10 400s. So in total of 800 horsepower. And they are more than enough to keep the boat absolutely straight and in a good position, and it feels very handleable. Even if we're going now the wave, you can see we're dropping, we're accelerating again, there's coming the next big roller, we're dropping and we're accelerating again, and we're going off the speed and on the speed. So the boat is totally fine to maneuver. So even if I'm doing some turns, Julian uses both of his hands to film, so even he can sit very calm and relaxed there while I'm driving. We did a lot of modifications here on this boat to be presented on the Monaco Yacht Show, which is right in front of us. So it's the last bit of sun that we have right now. We will go back into the harbor so you can see what else we modified on this boat. Now with a speed of 35 knots, both doors open, this big openable roof, so it feels really like an open boat, even if it can be very sheltered and enclosed when the weather is even worse. Still going 36, 37, 40 knots in this condition, and the boat it's just crazy. Sorry that I'm smiling, but it's just so much fun. And that's something I think is very important, especially for a tender when you have guests on board, or also when you are a crew member. You always have to feel safe and comfortable on board. And this boat will never give you, or never gave me yet, the situation where I felt that I was not capable of handling it. So even if there were some bigger waves right now, I easily know what to do to keep the bow up and to keep the boat straight. And the boat, is just giving you so much. It forgives you even a mistake. And this is something that I think is very important when it comes to commuting, bringing guests and customers from one point to another. So when we're driving in here to the Monaco Yacht Show, we have to try to, I have to put the sticker on the window, otherwise we get banned. So while we're doing this, boat stays straight. It maneuvers very well. So this particular boat we finished like a week ago or a couple of days ago before Monaco. It arrives this morning. We have a lot of options here that is especially made for the tender or chase boat. In particular, that means we have on one hand these standard applications. So this boat has a Brabus line, that means black trim railing, these Alcantara steering wheel, the badges here in the front, and all these small bits and pieces like this soft decking here on the side, which says Brabus. Then we have a Mediterranean package, which includes these lounge feeling sofa, also on the back, and which is a bit more, I would say, better when it comes to transporting people from A to B or commuting people from A to B. And you also can, which is very nice, sorry, we just cleaned a bit, so there's some stuff on board. We have been on board all day long. Oh, be careful, otherwise we crash into the police. You can turn the bench and somebody still can drive. So if you have somebody like a crew member who is going to drive the boat and the owner or guests are coming on board, they have a nice round seating area where they can be while somebody else is still able to drive right here in the front. Good. And you can put it back and it's done. You can, instead of having this kitchen option, which comes with this massive block down here, you can also have a regular table which only stands on one leg. So you have not these boxes, and you can, when people are sitting there, they have space for their legs, especially on this seat, because then otherwise it's a bit difficult. Another feature of this boat, we have the JPO on board. So that means we have a joystick control for the whole boat, which can help in a mooring situation, and also, which is very, very handy, this boat has a skyhook, which is a dynamic positioning system. It has it calls JPO. That's a GPS tracking system to keep the boat on point and GPS tracked on one position while you can do something else. For example, preparing fenders, ropes, or the boarding poles, which we installed on board. And while I set that, we go here and activate it. So we will stay all the time and have plenty of time now to make this video. So yeah, as you can see, we are now in the middle of the Cannes, of the harbor of harbor of Monaco. Cannes was 2 weeks ago. Too many boat shows for me now. So now the skyhook is active, which means the steering is locked, and which says, okay, now the engines are optimized, trimmed, and working separately to keep the boat in position. Good. What do we have else? We have a boat thruster, which can also be a proportional one, and then can be integrated into the joystick function. That means if you use the joystick, for example, turning it to turn the whole boat, the boat thruster is integrated and works as well to help maneuvering the boat. Can be, is an option, can be very helpful in certain situations. I think I can get rid of this. It's just needed when you're driving here in the harbor. Then we have these twin new NSS 4 plotters from Simrad, which I like very much. The most important thing for me when I use a plotter is that I have a section with physical buttons. I think there is nothing that is more annoying when you're trying to use the plotter while driving and you can't really use it because the waves or the movement doesn't allow to touch something. So you then have a steering where you can zoom in, zoom out, or move somewhere else. And this can be very handy in certain situations for me, which I prefer. As I mentioned before, we have a big roof. When I open it completely, nearly the whole cabin is open now. So I would say it's the last 1.5 meters here which are not open and which are also sheltered when you want to sit in the shadow when the sun is burning, and then otherwise you just close it and you have a fully enclosed cabin, which is in certain situations quite nice. The good thing on the roof, you also can open just a small area in the front. When it's warm, you still get the fresh air in, but you're also in a shadowed or in a sheltered position in front of the sun, so it's not so warm like this right now. That's what I normally do when I'm driving, so I get fresh air in, but I'm also protected from sun. So what do we change as well? Let's go outside. I can show you there. Let's begin with some smaller details, like these boarding poles. We installed a boarding pole. We have 2 boarding poles on board, and we installed 3 positions where you can put them. When people are coming on board, they have something to grab. Here is some anti-slip, so they easily come on board from the bow or the stern, fender boxes on port or on starboard. It's also a big change that we made on this boat. We have a dismountable anchor bracket. So we have a big anchor winch, which is also custom. It's a Luma V1, which is much more powerful than the normal one. And then we have the anchor bracket here, which we now removed. So when people go on board from the front, they have more space to come. We have more space to get closer to shore or to the pier, depending on what we do. So, and if you use it again, you just have these 4 bolts there that goes in here, and then it's ready to go again. So this one stores in here. And what we also have is a towing rope with a towing point in the front. So this boat is the concept of this boat is the use of a chase boat. So it's still possible to tow this boat behind your bigger boat. And most importantly, we have installed a tow pro, which helps us to tow the boat at night insured. It's the most important thing. So the most chase boats are not insured when you don't have a tow pro or a similar concept at night. So you tow them at night, something happens, you have some bad weather conditions, and maybe the rope rips out or something damaged, or you get water into the bilge, and everything that could happen here is monitored by this tow pro system, and will give these information via VHF or radio to you and to the mothership. So you always have full control and full analytics of the boat that is chasing you. Then we added a chain counter, so when you're mooring, you know exactly how much chain you let out. Then we have a big storage here in the front, where we now have 1, 2, 3, 4 fenders, the bracket, extra ropes, the towing rope here, so there's plenty of space. So then we have more space down here, where we stored now a planofield cover, which goes completely over the boat but leaves the gangway open. So you always can come on board, you can move, you can stand safely, open the cover, and the complete inside of the boat is still protected. Very useful. I would say in the Med, 90% of all our boats that we sold have this. And it fits very well. So you also can use it while you're towing, for example. Then we have this massive Vision X light bar here in the front, and also some custom lights in the back. When you stay outside, I will activate them, but be aware, maybe you should wear some sunglasses because they are very bright. As you can see right now, this one helps to light up the bow part of the boat. Then we have some on the side. So when you're mooring next to the big boat at night, you have some additional lighting on the mast, and some in the back as well. So you have lights from everywhere and you always see where you want to go. As I mentioned before, we have a second boarding pole here on the side with anti-slip here as well. So when people are coming on board or off board, they are safely positioned. This particular boat has now the setup with a new sofa in the aft. There you also can have for example, a multi-storage to store all the toys or everything else that is needed. This one, as I said, it has the U-shaped sofa, which is some more storage below here and some storage below here. So there you also can store some stuff, and a very big storage in here for longer things that you can use. For example, I don't know, a fishing rod or something else. Good. This table is electric. As standard, it's to do it manually. We changed it to electric one, which also goes completely down, and then you have a fill-in cushion to have a big extended sunbed here in the aft, where you can easily lay down with 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 person. That's normally the favorite spot of the ladies on board, because of course they are protected protected from the wind because of the cabin. Have these bar here to hold on when you're lying here, and you also have quite a nice view in the back. Good. As you see, the table is now completely flush, and the engines, while we are talking, the engines are working completely simultaneously on their own to keep the position of the boat. That's the work of the JPO. And one very important thing that when you choose the JPO is you get an electric steering, which is very nice to use while driving because it's very soft, and you can choose if you want to have a stiffer or not so stiff. And then it's depending on the driving situation. So that's very, very handy as well. That comes with the JPO. Then we have big fender storages on port and starboard. Oh, here we have the wet bar. Sorry, there's an option as well. You can have, instead of having a fender box, you can have a wet bar with an extra fridge and an extra sink here in the aft. And on the other side, we have a big storage. Then we have, of course, a shower with warm water here in the aft as well. Then we have the inlet for the boarding pole here. The lighting, the night vision camera we will show you in a minute. Just before that, we show you here on this side the big storage that we have. There are now 1, 2, 3 fenders in and some ropes. And when you have don't worry, it's a bit dirty. We had a lot of people on board today. And this boat will also be used as probably also be used as a boat going into the bay, because the big boat obviously are not allowed to anchor in the water where you can see the ground, in the sand. So you always have to stay in the deep blue water with the big boat. So this more goes into the bay, and for this we have a comfort bathing leather with a bit higher handle to get out easily. Good. Fire extinguishers on the side in separate boxes on both sides. Also here again, when you go on board, off board, you have the roof here has like a inlet where you can put your fingers in to get the stability, so you don't need an extra rail, and then you can go on board and off board very easily. So as Julian filmed already, we have on the roof some roof racks where we also can put, besides some toys like this stand-up paddleboard, we can also put there a tool box, so to get extra storage. Just because the boat is passing by right now, just have a look at this Brabus 1000, which looks beautiful over there. With twin V8 500 horsepower with a compressor on top, have a crazy noise. This boat it's a machine. It's a proper machine. You can see Patrick there smiling. He had some good fun outside, I guess. Good. One of the biggest things that we changed the first time on this boat is the extended rub rail. When you have a look here, we extended the back rub rail, which ends normally with the beginning of the railing. So when you see there, normally the rub rail stops, the lower one stops with the beginning of the railing. But now we in Traben extended the completely rub rail next to the whole boat until here. So when you going next to the big boat and the fenders are not working properly or anything can happen, the boat stays protected and you don't have to worry all the time, which is very handy. Good. In the interior, we have here in the front some technical features. Yes, we take this away. We have some technical features. For example, we have the FLIR night vision camera in here. Whoop. So there we go on the Vigo home. And now the night vision camera activates. There you can see our stand-up paddleboard, the boarding pole, and the boat right in front of us. And over there to our right, it's quite crowded there. There are quite some people. So let's see how our infrared camera will have a look at this. So now you can also zoom in. You can see everybody is passing by. You can see all the persons. So also when somebody dropped into the water and it's dark at night, this can help. As I said, it can help. If it's too cold, then of course also a warm infrared camera doesn't really help. Then we have some trim tabs which are not used that much. The boat doesn't need them a lot. And of course, as I mentioned before, the most important thing, the TowPro. The system is installed here already, and you get all the information on a separate display which has to be installed on the mothership. Good. Here in the saloon there is the option for a kitchen. That's what's chosen right now. So this one here has some inlets where we can put some glasses or some plates depending what needed. But of course beverages is the most important thing that on board, not only for guests, sometimes also for the crew. And there we have a fridge in here and the big fridge in the wet bar in the aft. Good. This boat has also a sink in here, so to clean up the glasses that have been used. Then, because we don't have an aft storage, normally the entrance for the aft storage would be here, but because we don't have one, there's a big storage in here. Whoop! Which is now packed with covers, extra boxes, life vests, and all the stuff that you have on board when you're on a boat show, but also when you're using the boat in general. So to extend the comfort on board, we installed a 16,000 BTU air condition from Velair, which has a proportional compressor that it's not so noisy all the time when you want to sleep on board and leave the air conditioner on. It's in night mode a very, very small noise, or very, very low noise, which for me very useful. I slept using this one already and it was very good. To use this, we have a big lithium battery pack of 800 ampere hours, which is operating also an inverter, a Combi Master, which you can see here. So at the moment it's activated, so it says it's inverting mode. It's at the moment using minus 3.2 amps, which is not that much. That's the reason why there is no time remaining. If we would switch off the engines right now, see, we go a bit backward. Then we switch off the engines and start the air condition. So we know now this one goes up. -6. It takes a bit. Engines are switched off. -12. Now it's going up. And now the air condition is starting already to blow, and you're cooling down everything by using the air conditioner. Let me check one thing. Battery lithium. Also, one thing which is very important is we can limit the AC in on, now it's on 15 amps, but it can also be on 12 amps depending on if you are in a harbor where you have good infrastructure and good shore power conditions, or if there's a quite low infrastructure somewhere on the other side of the planet. Then you can also reduce the amps, the fuse of the amps, to be sure that the fuse is not popping on the land side. Good. We can switch this off, start the engines again, and go a bit forward to be out of the way, because all the time boats are running around us. As I said, it's quite crowded and busy here. Good. Joystick is activated. And then we come to the last part of the boat, the front cabin, which is now where we have now this balloon fenders for the boat show. So you also have in here a cupboard where we now have the bag with all the documents. You have some more storage below here, and you have some extra storage in here. So there is not that much storage, but to store some stuff that can stay on board for a longer time, you can leave it in here. And of course, something very important, we have a toilet. You can choose or decide if you want to have an enclosed toilet cabin. Then you would have a wall going alongside here, and then the toilet would sit in the corner. Or if you just leave the toilet in here. I'm a big fan of leaving the toilet just in here, because then the room is more spacious and it's more usable instead when you have the enclosed toilet cabin, it shrinks everything a bit down. As I said, that's the inlet for the aft bench, for the aft sofa. When you lay down there, you have this big cushion going in there. And then we have here the panel of something which is not installed yet, which we will install after the boat show. The time wasn't enough to activate it, but it's a quick gyro. So that means the boat also has a stabilizer to while you move in quite rough conditions, the boat stays stable and also comfortable. Of course, it's not keeping the boat as stable as it would if there would be no waves. It's just killing the amplitude. So for example, when you're on anchor, the boat is not moving so much in the amplitude, not leaning like this, which can make you puke quite easily or seasick. It's just going a bit like this to killing the amplitude. Good. I think that should be everything. There's just one feature left, as Julian already wanted to mention to me. It's the signature of the Axopar 37. It's the gull wing door. What I did when I was on anchor a lot, I napped in here. Sometimes when you're in the shed, you want to be a bit sheltered. The sun is burning all day long and you are on anchor somewhere or waiting for the owners. So you can just open this door and another one and you get fresh air in, you get a lot of light in, but you also can easily lay down there and feel comfortable, and you get easy access to the front cabin without going through the main cabin, for example, if it's crowded in here. Good. As you see, I'm a bit dirty, it's salty everywhere, because yeah, we had some fun all day long with this machine, with this very amazing boat driving. If you want to test drive the boat, if you want to experience the Axopar 37 in general, please visit us in one of our destinations. We have an office in Mallorca where we're also offering service, same as we have an office in Le Mandelieu, which is close to Cannes, where we're also offering an service, and that's the most important thing. So if you are a big ship or a super yacht or somebody who is needing a supply vessel or a chase boat, and there's one big problem, support, then you can be sure that we can always support you. Doesn't matter where you are on the Met, we can take care of this, and we can ship spare parts as fast as possible. When you are quick, then they are there on the next day, depending when we speak. So if you're before 12, we can ship them all over Europe in one day. This can be very handy, especially as a chase boat or as a boat in high frequent use. Good. Our last destination that we have is, or two, one of course in the Baltic Sea with nautic yachting, where you also be able to drive a Axopar 37 in also quite interesting areas. And of course in our place where I'm located as well, at the river Moselle in the middle of Germany, in Traben-Trarbach, you're always welcome. We now have an Axopar 37 in the water, which is available for test drives. And if Traben-Trarbach is not so, how I said this, not so, if Traben-Trarbach or the river Moselle is not telling you enough about these amazing driving skills that this boat has, then please visit us in Mallorca or in south of France or in the Baltic Sea, where it's a bit rougher, and then you can see how this boat is a driving machine, how amazing it works. So please confidence yourself. Otherwise, if you don't have the time to visit us there, check out our YouTube channel or visit our website bootepolch.com, or you visit us at the next boat show. That should be Düsseldorf, Cannes, Monaco or Palma. Thank you very much for having, for looking, and we see us next time.